Hello there, it's Simone. I just recently shared my stats in fountain pens and inks for 2023. And I also talked a little bit about how many pens left my house in 2023, but I wanted to make an extra video and talk about what makes me decide to sell a pen, and also why I sold the specific pens that I sold in 2023. So, with my fountain pen collection, which is around 40 pens right now, as I'm recording this video, I am always asking myself the question, besides, do I need this? Do I want this? Often, do I really need more than one fountain pen? Why do I want this pen? What makes this pen special compared to all the other pens that I have in my collection? Maybe it's the color, because I do have 4 Esterbrook Estes. So what makes these pens special enough for them to be, for me to have 4 of the same model? Well, first of all, of course, the color is different. But Esterbrook Estes also are JoWo nib compatible, and I am currently really enjoying exploring different nib grinds. And because the Esterbrook SC has an inner cap mechanism that keeps it quite well sealed, this is a really great option for me to explore all of those JoWo nibs. Of course, there are other, I am just calling them not negatively attached. There are other JoWo number 6 nib holders, but these work really well for me. So that's the first thing. The other thing is maybe there is a memory attached. For instance, I have this Platinum 3776 Shape of Heart. I probably wouldn't have purchased this pen because it's a really very expensive pen, but I won this pen in a giveaway, and that makes it special to me. And of course, besides the fact that I won it in a giveaway, it's actually really beautiful. So there's that. Then maybe they have all different nib widths. Maybe they have different kinds of nibs that makes them special. And so I'm always, when I'm using my pens, I'm experiencing them, I'm writing with them, I'm noticing the comfort of the pen in my hand. Do I enjoy writing with this pen? And then maybe an ink doesn't work in it, or something is off and odd and I don't enjoy it. And then I start, what exactly is it that I do not enjoy about this specific pen? And this way I was able to let go of quite a few pens that I had in my collection. I let go of, I sold 13, I swapped one, and I gifted one away. And I'm going to start talking about the ones that I sold now. So the first pen, or let me just start in, how did it happen that I started selling pens in March? I talked to Leanne from Leanne Likes in a video that we shared, and other people responded to it with the hashtag 8penquestions. And if you're interested in that, go ahead and check that out. It was a really fun way to connect with the YouTube fountain pen community. I loved that so many of you actually started a YouTube channel just to respond to these questions, and that was a lot of fun. I'm still in the process of working through this, but after talking to Leanne, something clicked in my head, and I felt like, yeah, why do I keep pens that don't really work for me? And why not just sell them? So that is what I did. In March, That was the first time that I listed a pen and sold it. I sold the Navalor Original Plus in Fine. I purchased that in October 2022 from Atlas. And I just wrote a tiny word phrase behind. The pen was around $50, I think, maybe $60. And I just didn't, first of all, it was not for me. The nib was a little bit weird. The acrylic, there was a step and the section, between the section and the barrel, that was quite sharp. And I just didn't see the value in the pen. And I also just didn't really enjoy writing with the nib. And so I tried it, I think, with 2 different inks, and they were both meh. And so I said, okay, there's more than just one thing that's wrong with this pen for me. I'm going to get rid of it. So I sold it. The next pen was one that I actually purchased right at the end of 2022 on Amazon for a really good price, which is the Pilot Custom Heritage 92 with a medium fine nib. And that pen is basically the same pen or a similar pen as the Pilot Custom 74. It has flat tops instead of rounded tops. It is a piston fill mechanism, but the section width and the nib size are exactly the same. And because I really liked the Pilot Custom 74, I thought, why not get the same pen in a different nib size for a really good price? So I purchased that. But that was also then 2023 was the time where I really experimented, and not just experimented, but also analyzed what I loved about fountain pens and what I didn't like about fountain pens. And what I noticed was that I really enjoyed wider grip sections. And this pen is in my collection because it was my first gold nib fountain pen, and because the pen just writes beautifully, but it is not comfortable. And so there is emotional attachment to this pen, but to the Pilot Custom Heritage 92, I did not have any emotional attachment. And so because it also is a piston filler that is harder to clean, and I really enjoy swapping inks and therefore also enjoy more cartridge converter pens, I decided to let that one go, and I did. The next pen that I sold was really, I did not expect to sell this pen as fast as I did. I purchased the Benu Talisman in Venus's Hair with a medium nib in March 2023 from Truffet, because I really enjoyed the Benu Euphoria in Jazz that I purchased in November of 2022, but started using after my birthday in February of 2023. This one has a fine nib, and the one that I purchased had a medium nib. And the pen is a little bit smaller than the Euphoria, and for some reason it did not lay as comfortably in my hand as this Benu Euphoria. And then I also I liked the photos of the pen more than I actually liked the Venus's Hair that I received. There was nothing wrong with the pen. It was really beautiful pen, but it just I didn't fall in love with the pen as much as I had hoped. And so I decided to sell it. The next 3 I sold as a bundle. In 2022, I was under the impression that I needed a TWSBI Eco for all the nib sizes, that I needed a TWSBI Eco in extra fine to have as an everyday writer with a black ink. And then I also purchased a a specialty nib grind that I still have. I just swapped out the nib. This is a reverse architect on a TWSBI Eco. And so I accumulated quite a few TWSBI Ecos. However, in the beginning of 2023, I noticed that there were several cracks on the barrels of my TWSBI Ecos. And so that frustrated me. And I decided to sell all the TWSBI Ecos that didn't have any cracks, so that I wouldn't end up with 6 or 7 TWSBI Ecos with cracks. I filmed a full video about my sad TWSBI sob story. And if you're interested in that, you can go and check that out. But I got rid of all the TWSBI Ecos that I did not, that didn't have any cracks. And so I was able to basically recoup some money before I made them worthless. So that was the TWSBI Eco saga. And then I sold quite a few at the end of April. And the reason for that, besides the fact that so I started selling those and listing those. I looked through, I found, there's a problem with this pen. So I also sold my Franklin-Christoph Model 45, which is a small pocket pen. It's basically like this, just smaller. And I had purchased that with a medium sig nib, and I did not enjoy the medium sig nib on that. I had Audrey Madison from Franklin-Christoph look at it at the San Francisco Pen Show in 2022, and she tuned it and it worked really well after that. But I also had quite some issues with inks drying out in the pen. And so because I realized that, first of all, the Model 45 has a very narrow grip section, the pen is short, the cap didn't post 100% securely, so it would fall off at some point, and it would stop right around here if it wasn't posted. So I decided, because I started enjoying the number 6 Jowo nibs more, and the Model 45 instead of a number 6 nib has a number 5 nib, I decided to sell it. Again, I really enjoyed the pen, but I knew that I wouldn't use it as much as other pens. This was really hard to sell for me because of the SIG medium nib, but I then also decided to sell a number 6 SIG extra fine nib that I received from my friend Amy, who didn't enjoy it at all. I had the same problems, and I decided that when I was at the San Francisco in 2023, I would replace that number 6 SIG extra fine nib with a SIG medium nib. So that's where the funds for this nib went, right into another number 6 SIG nib, just not in the extra fine model. The next pen that I sold was actually the predecessor of this one, which was the TWSBI Mini in rose gold with a medium nib, and I purchased that in June 2022, and my pen case discolored the cap. I replaced the cap, I sold the pen because I didn't want to keep a pen where I would fear of discoloration all the time. I use my pens when I decide I'm going to add a pen to my pen collection, then unless I'm not 100% sure I want to keep it forever, I am using them and I'm putting them in pen cases, and I don't want to always have to think, oh, would this discolor my pen? And so I sold that and purchased this instead. And then, so as you can see, I sold quite a few pens that I acquired in 2022. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pens of the 13 pens that I sold, I purchased in 2022. And I think the reason why so many pens from 2022 were sold is because I was still trying to figure out what my comfort levels are in nib size, not just nib width, but also like, do I like bigger nibs? Do I like smaller nibs? Do I like bigger pens? Do I like smaller pens? Do I like girthy pens? Do I like thinner pens? What is it that I enjoy? And I sold 2 of my grail pens right after. So I was able to, with all the money that I raised with when I sold all of those pens, I was actually able to fund this fountain pen. It was kind of, I sold the pens, I saw how the money accumulated in my budget, and this pen was, when I purchased this at the end of April, beginning of May, was the most expensive pen that I had in my collection. And it was really a tough decision to make, but because I had already invested that money in other pens, I said, you know what? It would be really fun to sell one more pen so I can afford this one and get that one instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pens that I'm not really enjoying. So I purchased this and I'm still really happy with this pen. This is a very, very comfortable pen. It is similar to the Esterbrook SD, but it's a little bit heavier, and that makes it just a tad bit more comfortable. But this pen was also like a tad bit more expensive. So I just love this, and I'm so glad I sold all of those pens and was able to buy this one. All right, then in the beginning of May, what happened then was I would use a pen, I would realize this pen is actually not really for me, and then I would list it and sell it. And that happened to my Kaweco. These are the 2 grail pens, AL Sport and Golden Espresso, that I purchased in December of 2021. And this was such a beautiful pen. Let me grab a Kaweco. I actually only have one Kaweco left because these pens are just not for me. They're too small, and the only reason why I keep this is because it has a double broad nib size. So I sold that beautiful pen. Then I used the TWSBI VAC 700R Iris, also had a medium nib. Between the body and the grip section, the step down was so huge, and I realized that I just did not enjoy this pen at all, and so I sold it as well. Wow. Two actual grail pens sold right then. And then I didn't sell many more pens after August. In August, I sold the Travelers Company brass pen, which I liked, but I started using this pen instead, and so that was just left over. So I decided to sell that because it's just too tiny for a regular everyday use for me. Then I sold the Opus 88 Coloro in red. I purchased that at Endless Pens in July of 2021. It has a number 5 nib, and that's why I sold it, because it didn't work as a Jowo number 6 housing. I'm actually planning on buying an Opus 88 demonstrator, and I also didn't really enjoy the way the the red ebonite and the red acrylic worked together. The colors were just a tad bit off, and so I sold that one. And then the last one that I sold was the Kaweco Sport Collection in cyan. I sold all of those beautiful blue pens, again because it just didn't work for me, because it's too narrow, too small, and I always have to post it. I can't just write with it like that. It just doesn't feel good. And so I am going to adore somebody else's Kaweco Sport collection and keep this one. I told you about the nib that I sold, the SIG Extra Fine. I swapped when I won the Platinum 3776 Shape of Heart, I already had a Platinum 3776 in a medium size. And I had actually asked luxury brands before they send it out if they had a broad nib of this, but they didn't. And so I asked on social media if anybody was willing to swap pens with me, and my friend Chelsea was actually really interested in doing that, and so I was able to swap out a pen where I had the same nib size already to a different nib size. And then the last one that I gifted was the Otto Tasche in aluminium in a medium nib. That pen was like $7 on Amazon. I wanted to try it. It didn't work for me, and so I just gifted it away. That's all the pens that I sold in 2023. There is two pens that I'm currently thinking about selling. Let me check my pen cases if that is actually correct. Yep. So this pen, I have one that I sent out on loan to a friend, which is the same nib size. It's a medium fine. It's another Sailor Pro Gear Slim with a medium fine nib. I was hoping the nib would be as bouncy as the 21K nib on this one. It is not. And so it doesn't really distinguish itself too much from any of the other pens that I have in my collection. I'm going to sell that. It's the Sailor Pro Gear Slim Autumn Drizzle. I will share an image on screen right now, but I don't have that with me at the moment. And maybe that friend is going to buy it, or when she sends it back, I will list that for sale. And then I am also thinking of selling this one. It's another medium fine nib. The size of the pen is too small, and because I enjoy the Pro Gear size with the bouncy nib so much more, I'm also thinking of selling this one. If you're interested in this, please let me know. And then this one is not mine. This one is Nadia's, and she is also interested in selling this. I'm going to use this during Inkvent, when I'm going to ink it up with an ink from the Inkvent calendar. But it's a beautiful Storm Winds blank, if I'm not mistaken. I have to look it up. If I'm not right, I will put on the screen what it actually is. It's a Model 46. It's a full-size fountain pen, so it takes converters. And if you're interested in that one as well, please let me know. And then I do have two more pens that I would like to sell, gift. No, actually I want to gift them away. 3 more. This one is the Jinhao X159. It has a fine nib. If you're interested in that one, please let me know. I would ask you to cover shipping, but I am really looking. So these are gifts, these are sales. And then this one is a TWSBI Go with a medium nib. I would like to gift that away. This one is a Jinhao X750 in the, I don't know what it is. It's something with Cosmos, Milky Way, Star, with a, what is that nib size? I think it's a medium size nib. I had swapped out the nib, but I decided to harvest the nib that I had on here and just gift this one away because it's not a pen for me. And then the last pen that I would like to gift to someone here is this TWSBI Swipe with a medium nib as well. So if you're interested in any of those pens right here, please let me know in the comments down below and we'll figure stuff out. I hope this was an informative video for you. I'm really looking forward to exploring more pens in 2024. Most likely they will be the pens that I already own, and less likely they will be tons of new pens that are coming in. But you know, I'm saying that right now. I don't know what the future will actually bring. That's what I'm thinking at the moment, and I'm really looking forward to sharing my journey with you. I hope to see you soon. Until then, bye.